was there. And part of the conversation we had when we were having lunch with our colleagues from the National Assembly is they thought that not everything between our two houses has to come to a stalemate before it is addressed. But, Honorable Speaker, it saddens me that for the third straight year that I've been a senator of Nairobi, the National Assembly is again inviting us to a stalemate on this question of the division of revenue. I ask myself the question, why do we have to have a mediation every single year? I have never understood why our brothers in the National Assembly cannot just do what is right by devolution and what is right by the people. If indeed they know the recommendation that has been made by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, why can't they just give counties the 450 billion shillings that we have been asking for? But we will do what we have to do, Honorable Speaker, and fight for the rights of the devolution family in the best way that we can, because that is the duty that we saw to undertake. Honorable Speaker, I want to make it clear from the onset that I agree fully with the recommendations that have been made by our own committee on budget and finance. Speaker, I want to refer you very quickly to page 6 of that report. At page 6 of that report, Honorable Speaker, you will see that the committee has noted the projected revenue for the financial year 2025-2026 is estimated to be 2.8 trillion shillings. Out of this, the national government share is 2.4, Honorable Speaker, representing 85.3% of our entire revenue. And that the 405 billion Kenya shillings that has been proposed for the devolution family represents a paltry 14.28% of the total revenue. 14.28 falls short of the threshold that has been set by the Constitution of a minimum of 15%. Honorable Speaker, of course, they will argue that they are basing their math on the last audited accounts that have been approved by Parliament. But we know that this continues to be an injustice to the devolution family. Somebody made a remark in the morning here that, in fact, the current Treasury CS, John Mbadi, was the chair of PAC in the National Assembly, whose responsibility it was to ensure that the National Assembly is up to date so that the devolution family does not continue to lose money. I will come back to John Mbadi in a short while, Honorable Speaker, but allow me to say that the Senate, this House, has recommended 465 billion. I don't know why the Speaker is shaking his head. Honorable Speaker, is there a problem? Have I said something that was offended the Speaker? Because, Honorable Speaker, I'll proceed as if nothing has happened. So, Speaker, if you look at the committee's observations on page 7, that the recommendation we have made as a Senate of 465 billion has science behind it. It is not just a figure that was plucked from the air. And you will see the committee says that the recommendation was informed by the need for county governments to meet new non-discretionary financial obligations relating to, number 1, housing levy deductions. This is a national government imposition. Number 2, contributions to the National Social Security Fund. Number 3, matching allocations for the county integrated industrial parks, which is a program that was initiated by the national government requiring county governments to match them. Matching allocations for community health promoters program. Honorable Speaker, this responsibility falls upon us as a county government to make sure we pay these CHPs. And then the procurement of new medical equipment. When we were in Mandera with Senator Roba, we were informed that all those beautiful machines in that referral hospital have come to the end of their lease, and we need for these county hospitals and facilities to be able to acquire new ones. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, meeting the outstanding obligation under doctors' collective bargaining agreements and annual wage drift. Speaker, you know, every single day, medical workers are outside our house here, including yesterday. They were here in Parliament. Sadly, they were tear gassed by the police. I don't know why, because they have been there every single day for the past 3 or so months. They have been there. Even today, they are here, Honorable Speaker. And we have been told by the leadership of these unions that these collective bargaining agreements are binding to county governments. So, Honorable Speaker, where we have reached in the health sector, in fact, I want to plead with the UHC workers that where we have reached now, the only thing we want to discuss is money. The time for stories is over. And the house that handles money is the National Assembly. So let them be protesting there, because we as a Senate have done our part. The chair of the Budget Committee, must allocate the money that is required to absorb these UHC health workers and are permanent and pensionable. When I was in Garissa, I ran into the CS for health. And he was also trying to be clever by drawing in the Senate. Yet we as a Senate have done our job. CS Duale knows very well that the Senate does not appropriate any money. He wants it to look like we are the problem, yet the problem and the people with the power of the past is the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, there is the question of the MOU that we signed between ODM and UDA. Honorable Speaker, I said I will come back to CS Mbadi because it has been said out there that I only criticize, but I don't say anything positive about our experts in the government. The truth of the matter is, if you do something that is contrary to what ODM stands for, it is my responsibility to say that that is against what ODM stands for. When CS Mbadi says that in this particular financial year, there will be no new taxes he introduces under the Finance Act, that is ODM. That is who we are. We say tick. When Mbadi says that, I saw in today's newspapers, Honorable Speaker, that he has issued a circular that is going to introduce transparency in the PPP process. He has adopted wholesale the recommendations of the committee of this House on transport and housing, which was dealing with the Adani question, Honorable Speaker, when we said that, number one, if you are a government agency that receives a privately initiated proposal on any development, you have a responsibility to disclose that you have received that document. He has adopted that. As SG, I say, that is ODM. We are for transparency. Tick. Honorable Speaker, we have said in the committee where I used to sit when Karungu Wathangwa was the chair, I was a member, that you have to allow, after you receive a privately initiated proposal for a PPP, you have to allow other people to give you a better offer, what we called in the committee the Swiss challenge. I have seen he has put it in the circular. I say that is ODM. We say tick. But this one here, where he's proposing 405 billion Kenya shillings, it is my responsibility to say to the CS for Treasury, that is not what ODM has agreed with UDA. We agreed in the MOU, and I carry this MOU everywhere I go because I encounter ignorance at all levels, Honorable Speaker. And it is my responsibility to make sure that I deal with the ignorant about what this MOU provides for. Honorable Speaker, the majority leader was with me in Migori, and he asked me that he has read this MOU, that it is a good thing. But he doesn't understand why it is Sifuna's role to ask people questions. I want to explain a few things to him. Unfortunately, he has walked out. Number one, if you look at the constitution of ODM under Article 11, Honorable Speaker, it sets out the duties of members of ODM. Number one, Honorable Speaker, it is our duty as members of a party to understand the programs and the things that the party gets itself into. Once you have understood, it is a responsibility stated in the Constitution to explain what the party is doing. It is my responsibility to explain what we are doing with UDA. And finally, Honorable Speaker, under Article 11, we have a duty to combat propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of ODM. Combat is the word that is used by the Constitution. When you combat, you are not required to be nice. Although my party leader has asked me to reduce the number of papers that I put in the soup. Honorable Speaker, combat means you take it head on, propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of a party. Such propaganda as to what the provisions of this document are. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, Article 20 of the Constitution of ODM says that the Secretary General of ODM is the depository and custodian. Just a minute, let me make my point. Is the custodian of all documents, including all agreements that the party signs.
Just a minute, Senator Sifuna. What is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm rising under standing order number 101. And there's a facet of it. It's a lot of things about it. But generally, if you look at under 101, it's the content of speeches that we make in this House. And Mr. Speaker, the SG of ODM, who is my SG, who I really also respect also as my deputy party whip, deputy whip in this House, has brought the argument on the agreement that ODM had with Kenya Kwanza as a substantive conversation around what we must have in this house when we're looking at what we have. Mr. Speaker, this is a spirit that I do support. However, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for this to be the basis for which we are discussing the issue of division of revenue in this house, when that agreement has not been put in this house and tabled as would be required under that standing order, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that there has been a motion that informs our debates here? Because if you revert to that as a substantive issue that informs your speech in this house, then, Mr. Speaker, we will be taking the role of this parliament away from us and taking it to discussions outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker, so that we are actually taking our role as senators to debate issues in this house, Mr. Speaker, and giving it to forces outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And the reason why I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, is because the issue of division of revenue, what happens, Mr. Speaker, for senators in this house who are not party to that particular agreement? They need to participate in the division of revenue conversation, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order for the Senator of Nairobi to bring that argument and that document as a basis for us to discuss in this house, Mr. Speaker?
Senator Okech, I've looked at the standing order 101, contents of speech from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I cannot see any contravention from what Senator Sifuna is addressing. You know, in debating, you can really gather your things from here and there as you put your points in order. You know, we cannot limit debate in this house or people to think in a certain way. And that is why the Senate is respected, because senators are able to speak even 20 minutes. Unless other houses where they only do 2-3 minutes and they sit down. So let us not stifle debate, as long as he's not mentioning names anyhow. But this standing order can accuse you somehow, Senator Sifuna. So avoid mentioning names of other people. Mention the office, which is okay, but the names are not going to use the names of the CS by his name and not these other people.
Honorable Speaker,
maybe because he is not the CS now, maybe he has been reshuffled. So use the office.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker, you can see that my point has been demonstrated, that I encounter ignorance even from members of ODM. And it is my responsibility to teach, because that's what the constitution of a party requires me to do. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I was coming to the point that we are discussing. Division of revenue is a matter that has been covered under this agreement. And, Honorable Speaker, this agreement is not restricted to the parties that have signed it. Because it's my job to teach, allow me to read what this agreement establishes. The propaganda I was saying we must combat is what this agreement is and what it is not. This agreement does not form a government. In fact, what it says, Honorable Speaker, is that it sets up a platform for collaboration and cooperation between all political forces, not ODM and UDA, all political forces and other stakeholders in Kenyan society. So everybody is welcome to have this conversation, Honorable Speaker. Allow me just to conclude what I was saying, that as SG, I'm the custodian of this document. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, for those who are asking, why is Sifuna the one who asks this question? That Article 20 of the party's constitution also confers on me the power to perform any other functions that have been allocated by an organ of a party. And I want to confirm here that the Central Committee has charged me with the marking scheme for implementation of this document, so that when I ask these questions, nobody should ask why Sifuna is asking them. When we come to Article 3 of this document, Honorable Speaker, number 1, it talks about protecting and strengthening devolution. Honorable Speaker, please allow me to debate without all these interruptions. I don't know who I have offended.
Senator Sifuna, you know, unfortunately, they cannot deny members' points of order.
Yeah, but Honorable Speaker,
on the floor, it's not possible to deny them. Maybe you request them not to interrupt.
Honorable Speaker, under Standing Order 121, you have powers to stop frivolous points of order. please allow me to debate because I think
Please, just have a seat.